good evening and welcome to our Monday Night Wellness series of Creating Healthier Lives. This evening, the presenter will be Senior Executive Coordinator Lisa Anderson from Colorado, talking to us about a Shaklee Healthy Home, Healthy You, and giving us a perspective and insights into all that Shaklee has to offer us. So, Lisa, welcome, and it's all yours.
Thank you. Well, thanks for being on, everyone. I'm excited, and I love this topic. And we were talking about the weather just a minute ago, and I just want to say thank you to everyone who has taken an hour of their time out from being out in this beautiful weather to come in and to hear about something that I'm so passionate about, and that I really love the opportunity to share. So thank you for that. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to tell you just a little bit about me, what I do, and how I found Shaklee, and then I'm going to give you an overview of the company and our history and where we've come from, and then we're going to move right into talking about the state of health for most of us today, and some of the things that have happened to our food supply that have kind of set us up for some of our health issues, and then we'll talk about some options and some great things that we can do supplementally, and we're going to then move into the topic of household chemicals and toxins, and kind of explore, I think, some things that are largely unknown, and we'll go there, and then we'll talk about some options for that too, and hear some great stories of different things that people have done. So I'm excited, and you can see on the screen, this is a picture of my precious family. I'm the second one in from the right, and I have all my kids with me here, and our Shaklee story started when these kids were all just little bitty. They were between the ages of 3 and 8, and they were just fantastic. Oh, just so wonderful. And I miss those ages. But at that time, they were actually very sick. We just had a precious but very sick family. And we had strep go through our house for 12 months straight once. We just kept taking turns. And there was a schedule for antibiotics on the fridge all the time. And we had every flu there was. And I jokingly now call them our fluid years, because there were fluids of all kinds coming from lots of places, and so we weren't healthy. And so one of the things that happened for us is I started to go to nursing school, and I had a professor who taught a little bit on supplementation, and I got a great foundation of the difference between synthetic supplements and supplements made from food, and just really the difference between scientific marketing language and real science, and the need for testing to make sure it's bioavailable. So I began to look, and I found a company called Shaklee, and we tried their products, and really within 2 days my son's leg cramps went away. The kids' noses dried up, my sinuses cleared up, so we very quickly knew that we had stumbled on something fantastic for our family health-wise, and something that was really working. Along with that, I really fell in love with the philosophies that Shaklee had, and the idea of natural health and prevention made good sense to me, and I was really kind of open to exploring the idea of doing something, because I really wanted to stay home with my kids, and the nursing program was really something that we had decided I needed to bring in money, and so I was going to work, whatever shifts I could, and we were going to juggle and try to kind of join those ranks of two working parents. And so I came up with a bright idea to start a Shaklee business, and it's been fantastic for us. So about 13 years now, it let me stay home with my kids full time. A few years ago, my husband was in the construction industry, and in Colorado, the economy went down the toilet like with one big flush. It was terrible. So my husband lost his job right before Christmas, and we had this Shaklee thing kind of sitting in our lap, and we're so grateful because we just were able to focus a little bit more, and our business doubled that year and again the year after. So we're really thankful. We love what we do. We love the message that we share. We love the kind of the catalyst, I think, we get to be out there for people being proactive and thinking about their health, and we love the things our businesses offer us. So tonight I'm not going to be talking about the business. We're going to go into the 2 product lines that Shaklee has, but I like to make sure people know that this is what we do. And if, as we're going through tonight, if you find that there's a strong connection and you really identify with what we're about, and you're curious about the business aspects of Shaklee, just check with the person that invited you to the webinar, and they'll help you explore it and see if it's a fit for you. So Shaklee is a health and wellness company. Everything they do is good for us and good for the environment. We have this wonderful story that starts all the way back with Dr. Shaklee, and he's a fantastic man who did some pretty phenomenal things in his time. developed the very first multivitamin in 1915. He developed the very first biodegradable, non-toxic household cleaning product in 1960, which later went on to be the very first Earth Day product. Our company started in 1956, and we just have a very unique and special story to share with people. Today, our company is the #1 natural nutrition company in the United States. And Roger Barnett, who you see there, is our leader and has just done fantastic things, and we're going into new countries, and it's really a fun time in Shaklee because the whole world is starting to come around to what we are about and what we've been about for, well, since if we look back when Dr. Shaklee made the first vitamin, almost 100 years now. And so everyone is getting a little bit more aware of their health, and the need to be proactive is kind of obvious. And the idea of being environmentally conscious is something that's not just relegated to a little group of hippies, right? Everybody's kind of starting to get a little more clued into that. So we have a neat history, neat story. I love this quote down here at the bottom. So Dr. Bruce Daggy is our Chief Scientific Officer, and you can see Dr. Shaklee said, the medical profession is interested in treating disease. I am interested in building health. And that's a great quote, and it really does sum up a lot of what we do and who we are. And then Dr. Daggy goes on to say, nutrition affects everything: immunity, vision, longevity, mobility, energy, and it goes on and on. So it's a neat thing to kind of share that part of who we are. So our philosophies in Shaklee are always safe, always green, and always works. And if you look at the always safe part, this is the piece, one of the pieces I was looking for when I was searching for supplements for our kids, because I had heard a lot of stories, and it is super important when you're looking for a product to give to your family that you know what is in it and that the company is willing to test. And it's an interesting thing in this industry. There's very, very little to no requirements in this area. So you have Shaklee, where we conduct 350 tests on every botanical ingredient for harmful contaminants. Their testing is so extensive and so finite. I love this example. If you were to take an Olympic-sized swimming pool and drop a grain in sand in that swimming pool, Shaklee's testing is so good, they would pick up on that grain of sand and they would not use that whole batch, if that makes sense. So I think that's a good visual. Their testing is really second to none. It is exceptional. They do 100,000 quality tests every year. And then we have the environmental piece, which is really neat. We have a company that was the very first company to be climate neutral certified. I've heard the only company to receive that certification year after year. And we have this, again, great history of being the very first Earth Day product. The Jacques Cousteau Society has only used Shaklee products on their vessels. And you can kind of see some of these other things that we are very proud to get to say. And then, of course, the always works piece, which is, to me, this was the most important part, because you hear an awful lot out there, and there's a lot of it true, about vitamins being kind of a waste or kind of a joke. And so you really have to have a company that's done its part. And we are the leaders in the world of nutritional research. We're the leaders in the world of patents. And you can see here there's 100 published scientific papers. And this is the very best type of research that can be done. And so it's a neat thing for us to get to share. Now at the bottom you see this piece on the landmark study. I'm going to go into that a little bit more in depth in a bit, because it's really important, and it's a neat piece of science that we get to share. So let's talk about how we ate 100 years ago. And you can see across the top of my screen here, this is how it was designed. And the food was made for the body, and it was a good plan. And our cattle and our chicken walked through grass, and they breathed clean air, and they were able to move and eat naturally. And it worked really well. And our food was organic and nutrient dense. And we had our fish swimming in fresh water, and it was a good plan, and it worked really well. And today we have an entirely different story, where we're looking at growth hormone and antibiotics, and the living condition for our livestock is so horrendous that they have to be constantly treated for disease. And then again, after the meat has gone to the market, there's all kinds of problems because of the way it's been modified and how it's been handled. And then we have the pesticides and herbicides and the genetic modification that's going into our foods. And then, of course, when we look at the water, and there's just really almost no pure water anymore with the mercury and the dioxins, the PCBs. So largely, when we're talking about health and supplementing and where we're at, this is an important place to start, because this has created the scenario that we're living in. And so here's kind of my funny fat giraffe page, but there's a little bit of truth that's not too funny. And I love this quote by the U.S. surgeon. He says, there no longer can be any doubt about the link between diet and disease. And I think we're finding that to be more and more true. So today in America, normal is not healthy. Nearly 4 out of 5 people in the United States have some sort of disease not serious enough to warrant medical attention, but neither can they boast good health. And that's from the USDA, which is a quite conservative group. And this, to me, is this is such a telling page. You look at these columns here, and these are kind of normal, everyday things that people are dealing with, and these are things that our body is communicating to us, and then we run either to the store or to the doctor, and we get some sort of a prescription or medication, and we tell our body basically to shut up, that we do not want to hear this. One of the things I think that my eyes were open to when I was first starting my business is this concept of either approaching our health and our bodies with drugs that always come with a side effect. And you could sit and watch primetime television any day of the week and look at the drug commercials, and you will see side effects that, I mean, are somewhat staggering, like driving while you're sleeping, or gambling urges. And sometimes it's just like, I mean, it's kind of funny, and my kids get a big kick out of it, but the truth is you're thinking, what on earth could be happening that we're putting something into us that could cause these things? Here's the piece, and I know that there's a lot of legitimate, real reasons to have a medication, but in general, when we're approaching our health and we're looking at what's going on, and we have all of these things now that are communicating to us that something's not right, if we will take the time to go and to approach it naturally and nutritionally and feed the cells and put it into the body, not only do you not get the side effects, but you get this whole host of side benefits. And I love that piece, and I think it really sparked a passion in me because getting to share this with people. So let's just say I'm working with someone who's having a hard time with their hormones, or maybe some skin issues or sinus problems, and we get a really good program together, and they're supplementing, and all of a sudden they say, oh my gosh, I'm sleeping better, I have less food cravings, I have more energy, my hair and my nails are growing. And so it's really fun to approach health naturally because you get this whole host of side benefits, and it's just, I think, quite a contrast, I think, to other options for dealing with some of these issues. And of course this statement at the bottom is so telling. Disease is not caused by a shortage of medications. We need to treat the causes, not just the symptoms. So let's look at what's happened since 1999. Heart disease has increased 10%, cancer 20%, type 2 diabetes 35%. Now here's the part I want you to see over on the right. Look at the prevention rates of each of these things. We have 80% ability to prevent heart disease, 60% with cancer, and 90% with type 2 diabetes. So to me, that is probably the thing. You're going to hear a lot of things tonight. I want that to really stick with everybody that's on the webinar tonight, because I want you to know that you have a say in your future, and you have a say in your health. And I think if the whole world could kind of jump on this mindset and say, the health that I'm going to have 10 years from now, 20 years from now, is largely up to me. Right? Because this is what the statistics are showing. This is largely up to me. And so then let's look at the fast food sales increased by 2,000%. Now, isn't that something? Decline in nutrient content of food decreased by 38%. I think that might be a little bit conservative, to tell you the truth. And the percent of people that get recommended servings of fruits and vegetables is 2%. I love this book by Raymond Francis, Never Be Sick Again, and he says there's only one cause of disease, malfunctioning cells. There are 2 causes of malfunctioning cells, exposure to toxins and lack of nutrients. So something to think about, and I would encourage you to get that book. A couple more statistics. The U.S. leads the world with more people per 1,000 with degenerative disease. If you look at our cancer rates, we went from 1950 having 1 in 80 to present 1 in 2. Heart attacks, the U.S. death rate from heart attacks, 1926 it was 1 in 20,000. Today it's 1 in 2. And here's, I think, probably one of the most interesting statistics on this page. The U.S. life expectancy rank has dropped from 23rd to 23rd out of 30 industrialized nations. Now here's the part that I think we really need to consider. We rank number 1 in money invested into our healthcare system. So if we're of all of the other industrialized nations investing the most money into our healthcare, but we're 23rd, there's something that's not working, and I think that that's getting more and more obvious. Okay, so intelligent supplementation is no longer an option. Now solution. And with Shaklee, what we have is the original prevention company. Dr. Shaklee started it. He started this concept of building the health and protecting the health through supplementation. So I love this quote: for every dollar spent on nutritional supplements, you will save $28 on healthcare costs. Now, this is what we saw. This is what happened for us. We had 4 kids. We were constantly sick. We had co-pays and prescriptions and blah, blah, blah. And really within a few months, we were able to sit down and say, now look at what's happening, where we're saving the money. And it became really evident to us that it was a very good decision to invest in supplementation. So rebuilding your health starts with a healthy diet, exercise, and smart supplementation. Okay, so there's this is, I'm going to just say, a very simplistic overview, and certainly not meant to be an exhaustive discussion on the types of supplements, but it's a really good guide, and so I'm going to go ahead and kind of just walk you through it. 3 types of supplementation. Synthetic, so this is the most common kind. This is the kind you're going to find at your local grocery store or drugstore. It's completely man-made. There's no food in this supplement. It is made in a test tube to resemble the molecular components that they are trying to create from the food. There's a lot of side effects. There's short-term stimulants. You'll see artificial colors, flavors, sweeteners, binders, and fillers. I've heard baby powder can be a common binder. Shellac can be a common filler. There's a whole host of things in here, but the bottom line is it's not food, and the body recognizes that it's not food. And so even if you try to kind of trick it or sneak it in as food, there's an issue there. Here's kind of your visual for the night. I've heard if you go to your local sewage plant and you look at the whole top layer of the sewage, it's covered with undigested vitamins, which is an interesting concept. So it leaves us with the question is, how much value are we getting from buying really, really cheap drugstore vitamins if they're really just kind of taking a little field trip right through our guts and out down the stream? So that's you can remember that one too. And then we have natural extracts, and this is basically what you get from the health food store, and this is where they take the food and then they'll use heat and chemical to extract the nutrient they're wanting to market. That extraction process kills a lot of the enzymes, so this is a big deal because that is really important to the absorption and the utilization of the nutrients. But also in this category, it is legal to label it natural as long as it's 15% natural. So you get this whole host of interesting things that have partial supplements from natural source and a lot from not. So it's in balance. You get a lot of mega doses of really inexpensive things and artificial colors, flavors, sweeteners, and all of that again. But the key thing to think about is the absorption and the bioavailability. And then you have what Shaklee has. There's no heat, no pressure. They start with the best food sources. The soil is nutrient rich. Shaklee science is so extensive that they even know with some things to harvest them in the middle of the night because there's more nutrition up in the leaves. So they do 83,000, or actually it's 100,000 as I showed you on the one slide, 100,000 tests annually to make sure that nothing is getting in there that shouldn't. And there's a story, and I'm just going to tell it really quick because I think it's a very good story of the quality. Back in the 90s, we have a fantastic ginseng product in Shaklee, and Shaklee, when they get a raw ingredient, they do all of their own testing to make sure it's pure. And this particular batch of ginseng came in, and it was contaminated with a pesticide called quintazone, and quintazone is known to cause cancer, and so Shaklee rejected it, and they got another batch in, same thing, and they rejected it, got another batch in. Well, come to find out, there had been widespread flooding, and all of the ginseng crops had grown a fungus, and so they decided to mass treat with a fungicide, and it was quintazone, and so Shaklee pulled their ginseng product off the shelf. I believe it was for 3.5 years. But what I heard was that they were the only company on record to pull their ginseng product off the market. And they, basically went without money because it did not meet the criteria that the company has. And it's a really important story. In the meantime, all of those other ginseng crops being sold most likely had quintazone in them, and that's pretty serious. Okie dokie. Let's see. So here's the landmark study. This is such a neat thing that we get to be a part of. It was done back in 2007 by Dr. Gladys Block. Dr. Gladys Block is one of the leading epidemiologists in the United States, so she gathers all the data for the NHANES and the NIH. And basically what they did is they took 3 groups of people. So you can see The blue bar was the group that used no supplements at all. The red bar, they use other brands, so your typical over-the-counter, grocery store brands or whatever. And then the green bar, those are your Shaklee supplement users. And in every category where it's better to have a lower amount, Shaklee group had consistently and a lot lower. And then in the category where it's better to have the higher amount, which is the HDL, which is your good cholesterol, it was considerably higher. And so it was a neat study for us to be a part of. Shaklee had no say in the outcome, but basically what it showed was that the type of supplement you take really does matter. And again, with Shaklee, because the quality is so high, they're so well tested, but then we have that absorption thing going on, the results are really significant. And again, all of the scientists in Shaklee were like doing the happy dance, I heard, when these results came out, because it was such a big deal. Now, this is the part that I love, because again, this is kind of part of the passion I have when I share what can happen with someone's health. And this data came from that same study, and basically they said the average American under 65 has 12.2 different prescriptions per year. The average American over 65 has 19 different prescriptions per year. And the Shaklee users that have been using Shaklee for more than 20 years and their average age was 63 had only 0.6 different prescriptions written per year. And that, to me, is some pretty exciting group of data, because what a cool thing to be able to make some choices today that a year, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years down the road is going to impact your health that significantly. And that's what we see, and this is kind of the message that I think we get to shout from the rooftops, because it's a big deal. So now let's talk about Vitalizer. Probably my favorite product that Shaklee has, certainly very close to the number one selling product in my organization. It's such a fun thing to share with people because they get results so quickly and they feel it. I can't tell you how many times a year I hear people, this is the first vitamin I've ever felt, and I love that. So you see here 80 bio-optimized nutrients. That means that they absorb, they get into the bloodstream exactly the way they're supposed to. And over on the right you see how actually significant the delivery systems are in this pack. So you have 4 different delivery systems. There's 12 patents and 12 clinical studies done on this, and everything releases in the body where it needs to release, so it has maximum absorption. And it's a very big deal, and it's a very important key to getting results from supplementation. And then over on the left you see the different areas, and this is the scientifically proven areas that this product pack will help with aging and heart health and bone and joint health and immune health and so on and so forth. So it's very neat. We do make a little note down here that our basic membership is free with this pack, so that's pretty cool. And then this is just our fun, pretty page, so you can go ooh and ah, all these gorgeous foods, and this is the foods and the nutrients that you get to get into your body by using the Vitalizer pack. Now I want to talk about protein. Dr. Shaklee has a really neat story with protein as well, developing the very first protein isolate supplement, and it's plant-based. It's biologically complete, all 9 amino acids. It absorbs in 15 minutes. Kosher, highest quality, and I have heard, I believe this is true, that we were the very first company to develop a non-GMO certification. It's a big deal. You can see the huge list on the right of all of the things you're going to get and you're going to feel by supplementing with Shaklee protein. But I want to tell you this, if I'm working with someone who has poor health, poor immune function, lack of energy, fatigue, this is a fantastic place to start because their body just thrives on it. It gets in the system so well, you feel it so fast. And what you'll find is once you start supplementing with it, your body will actually crave it. And our whole family, we've been using it now for 13 years, and if someone in the family doesn't get one or we're traveling, they're like, what is wrong with me? I didn't have my protein. And so it really is, it's a big deal, and it's a really huge key to building health. Now there's some really unique things to Shaklee's protein. It's water washed, and it retains the critical isoflavones. A lot of protein supplements on the market are not, and it comes to some bad things happening. And you can see over on the right there, alcohol process and stuff like that. I want to mention now, because I think the topic of soy is kind of a hot topic, and I probably on a weekly basis get to have a nice conversation with someone about all the information out there about soy, and so-and-so says this and so-and says this, and it's somewhat scary. This is kind of my this is kind of my response. There's a lot of myths out there about soy, and people really need to dig deep and get to some truth. And Shaklee has put out a fantastic flyer on the benefits of it and then dispelling a lot of the myths, and it's backed up with the best research out there. Now, there are some concerns about soy that I think are probably legitimate, but it's because it's so manipulated and has been messed with so much. And what Shaklee has with our protein here, there's nothing else like it. It is completely pure and really a fantastic gift. So that leads us to our 180 program, and our smoothies. Our 180 smoothie is the cornerstone to this program, and it is one of the coolest product lines we have in Shaklee because in terms of health, if people need to lose some weight, you can dramatically impact your health and your health status by working in this area. And so you'll see there's 2 product packs in the 180 program. On the left, you'll see our Lean and Healthy Kit, and that has a smoothie a day in it, and it has the Vitalizer, which we just talked about. And on the right, you'll see the Turnaround Kit, and that is the kit that's designed for people who want to come and lose weight. This is such a scientifically designed program, and it works so well because of the nutritional aspect. It really not only satisfies all your nutritional needs, but when that happens, it really goes to help deal with the hunger and the cravings and all of the things that drive us that make eating healthy and eating the right quantity so hard. And so when you satisfy that nutritionally, you can make such a big impact on that. I want to mention, it's not on this page, but it's really important. There's a piece to our program here that has such a significant value, and it's leucine. And leucine is an amino acid. And what it does is it signals the body to maintain and hang on to all of its muscle mass. And so as a person is eating healthy and exercising and being active, the weight that they're losing is going to be body fat, not muscle mass. And this is huge for a lot of health reasons, but when you look at the metabolism piece, it's a big, big deal. So I like to point it out. One of the things you'll see when people get on this program is the composition of their body changes and their shape changes, and it is because of that piece. So. All right, I want to talk about Nutriferon really quick. This is for science geeky people. This one is as another one that just kind of makes you bouncy in your seat. It's very cool. Dr. Kojima, who discovered interferon, he actually got the Nobel Prize for that discovery, spent 40 years developing this product. We have an exclusive patent on it. It is fantastic, and what it does is it stimulates your immune system to work at a higher, more efficient and effective rate. And I'll just tell you a quick story. In our house, we have been, when we started using this product and we were getting kind of consistent with it, exposed to things that we just had no business not catching, if that makes sense. The stomach flu was in our house and we did not get it, and we've seen things like this over the year where it's just shocking the amount of things that we can fight off. Or instead of getting sick for days and sometimes even weeks, we'll feel like under the weather for maybe half a day or a day, and that's really a cool thing. This is a great product with lots of science, great research behind it, and again, you can dig a little deeper if you want more. I want to talk about Vivix. Vivix is a resveratrol product, very, very unique. In the last, I would say 10 years, probably one of the more exciting breakthroughs in the nutritional world. And basically, it comes from the muscadine grape. It is largely the component in red wine that is so healthy, but of course without the alcohol piece. So I'm just going to go with it very quickly. It repairs DNA, increases our defense and energy for the cells. It improves cell performance. And you can see that it inhibits the liver enzymes here that produce cholesterol, and then you can just run through that list and see how significant that is. But the decreasing of inflammation is such a big deal, because when you look at the things that cause major disease and that break down the body, inflammation is a huge contributor. And there has been some fantastic studies published that Shaklee has done on this product that shows that it blunts inflammation. It gets the gunk out of the cells that causes inflammation, and we get some tremendous results with it because of that. In my group, we've had just fantastic results with pain relief, people that were dealing with a lot of pain. We've heard testimony after testimony of people who have reversed kidney failure and all kinds of fantastic things. So if you or someone you know has a very real health condition or disease or thing they're dealing with, this would be a wonderful product to research and to dig into, because it is very good. It just so happens to taste wonderful, which is a nice little perk. You do a teaspoon a day. It tastes like very concentrated grape juice. Now, Shaklee is 10 times more powerful because The particular grape they use has an extra chromosome, and it has this huge polyphenol blend, which gives like kind of a massive antioxidant spectrum, and I could go on and on. It's fantastic. Okay, so I want to talk about our kids' supplements. We have some chewable vitamins as well, but these two are designed specifically for children. You see the Mighty Smarts? That is a DHA chew. So that is the omega-3 fatty acid that is fantastic for brain health and eye health and other things. It happens to taste like an orange starburst, so it's really easy to have your kids take it. It's really, really healthy, and it's a great supplement for children. Their brains really need a lot of DHA. And then we have our Incredifites, which is our multivitamin. It was really fun when this came out. Shaklee had this fantastic level of vitamin D in it. And then after that, all this great science started coming out about how much vitamin D we need, and everybody was going to jumping on it. And Shaklee already had it in their kids' vitamins, so it was pretty cool. And you can read through some of the other things. I love working with children and nutrition because we see their little bodies just respond to it so quickly, and it's really neat to kind of give them that extra edge. And there's a lot of children that are dealing with a lot of health issues in today's world that weren't common 20 years ago, and to give them this extra boost in their health is a big deal. All right, so now I get to introduce you to a very good friend of mine. She's been part of our organization for a couple years now, and that's Jennifer Hart, and she is going to share one of the coolest stories that we have. So, Jen, are you there?
I am here, Lisa.
Yay, I can hear you, and we get to see your gorgeous kids with their Go Bronco jerseys on, which we love. So, Jen, go ahead and tell us how Shaklee and walk us through what has happened with your kiddos.
Okay, well, thank you, Lisa, for giving me the opportunity to share tonight, because these three little ones, they're my walking Shaklee story. The one there in the white, and that's Teddy, and he's 9, and he is the reason we kind of started Shaklee. And in 2009, he was about 4 years old, and every time I cleaned the house, he had an asthma attack, and I never, ever thought that it was the cleaner. And it never crossed my mind, and I was introduced to Basic H, and I cleaned the house, and at the time, I had a house cleaner, and I taught her how to use the product after I was taught, and he came in, and he cried that day. He said, "Mom, I can breathe. The house is clean, and I can breathe." And it never crossed my mind before that it was the cleaners. And so the asthma attacks, we immediately went to the whole cleaning line. We took everything out of our house and replaced it with Shaklee, from the laundry to the basic cleaning to the scrubbing to everything, and it made a huge difference in his life and his asthma. It never crossed my mind to eliminate toxic cleaners in my house. I guess I wasn't educated on that. So then my middle child, Nate, who's now 6, he was a sick little baby. Both boys were born very premature. Teddy was born at 33 weeks, and Nate was born at 35 weeks. So they both have asthma, and it's probably related to the fact that their lungs were not, fully developed before they were born. And so when Nate was about 4 months old, he got his first ear infection. And for the next 16 months, we went through Augmentin, amoxicillin, Omniceft, and nothing would, it was an ear infection after ear. We'd go back to be checked. He had another ear infection in the other ear, and it went back and forth for forever. And it was the spring of, I believe, 2010 that we were prescribed Zithromax, and he had a febrile seizure in a reaction to the antibiotic.
Oh my
and
goodness.
It was after that I had attended a nutrition presentation by Lisa, and I went, wait a minute, maybe this kid who received antibiotics within hours of his birth has no immunity. And so we had a pediatrician appointment, and we kind of had a standing pediatrician appointment between the two boys. We saw a lot of our pediatrician, and he actually has become a family friend. And he said, "You have 3 months. In September, I want to put tubes in this kid's ear." And I'm thinking, okay, I just went to this presentation, and now they want to put him in and put him through surgery, and yet he already has no immunity. So I started talking to Lisa and my upline, and we put him on the pre and probiotic system. We put him on Incredivites, and I mean, just started in basic, and probably the DHAs, the Mighty Smarts, because my kids love those. And we have not had an ear infection since May of 2010.
Wow.
Isn't that exciting?
It was,
yeah.
We don't, like Lisa says, we just don't get sick. My kids take the full spectrum of Shaklee. I mean, they all take Nutriferon, we take Extra D, they take and they have no problem because they know that he is, it keeps them healthy. They know what it's like not to be healthy. And then we got pregnant with number 3, our little daughter, McKenna, and she's now 2. And I was petrified because here I was, now I'm going to be a mom of 3, and having a preterm baby is hard. Shaklee made a huge difference. I didn't take prenatals. I kept up with my Shaklee shelf and was healthy throughout my pregnancy, and she was full term at 38 weeks. Stayed in the hospital 22 hours. And we
wow.
From check-in to check-out.
Wow.
And she has never had an antibiotic. She has never had a prescription. And I think she's had one cold that lasted maybe 2 days.
And she's absolutely hilarious. Oh, my gosh. She bounces all over the room. She's fantastic. Oh, we love her. Sorry, Jen.
My boys reaped the benefits and got to go to Atlantis with us, and McKenna got to go to Mexico, and so they are definitely Shaklee kids. And
now you've had a neat addition to your business recently, so just tell us about that.
My pediatrician joined last month. As a member of mine. So I have my nurse, my pediatric nurse, and my pediatrician are both members in my business.
Great.
Isn't that fun? But they watch these little children just thrive, and that's a pretty great story, So, I love it. Thank you, Jen. Is there anything else you want to add?
I don't think so.
Oh, thank you.
Nicely said. Thank you.
Beautiful. It's so fun being a part of something, and I mean, I'm beaming over here. I'm so proud of this sweet, precious family, and I remember when Jen was first telling me about Nate and all the antibiotics, and how horrible health problems he was dealing with, and it's just so fantastic to see them now. So thank you, Jen. What a pleasure to get to share that. Okay, so now we're going to move on to our next segment, which is really a fun segment because we're really about simple steps in using safer products to run our family. And you've already heard a little bit about how significant it is. So you'll see a couple of aspects to this product line. They're safe for us and our families, safe for the environment. They're fantastic for your wallet, just the best thing going financially. And it's a great gift and thing to share with other people. Sometimes people just don't know there's a massive connection between what they're dealing with and something as simple as their household cleaning product. So let me talk about, hold on, I'm getting my computer to work, some of the things that we know now. 81,000 chemicals have been registered with the United States and the EPA in the past 30 years, but fewer than 20% have been tested for toxicity. I heard a statistic in addition to this. They say the amount of chemicals in the average household household home now far outweighs the amount of chemicals that was in a chem lab back in the 50s, and we've just gone kind of chemical crazy. 90% of all poison exposures occur at home. I've heard the #1 cause of accidental death in children are from household cleaning products. So it's a big deal. It's a real issue. And you can kind of just scroll down here. I won't go through each one of these, but we know that long-term exposure to chemicals inside of the homes may be harmful to us and our families. I heard a statistic that is just, to me, so staggering, and it came from a study that was done in Toronto, Canada a few years ago, and they said that women who work from home have a 50% higher death rate from cancer than women who work outside of the home. And they were saying it's directly correlated to the amount of chemical cleaning products she's exposed to all day. So there's a lot to think about here and a lot to consider, but what we want to do is kind of what Jen was saying. She didn't know, and then someone told her. So this is our education piece, So let's look at some statistics. 20 million Americans have asthma. 1 out of every 13 school-age children has asthma. This blows my mind because when I was growing up, I didn't know any friends of mine that had asthma, but now it's very common. The rate in our children have an H5 has increased more than 160%. And we know common household cleaners are huge in that. Statement by Dr. Herbert Needleman: we are conducting a vast toxicological experiment in our society in which our children and our children's children are the subject. And he was responding in specific to the chemicals that we have been bringing into our lives and passing on to our kids. So the average generate more than 20 pounds of hazardous waste a year, and I'm going to show you a slide right after this that kind of shows all of the things that are dangerous and that we cannot dispose of, or we're not supposed to dispose of because of some of the dangers. We have to dispose in a very, very proper way. But I wanted to share a statistic that I caught over the weekend on just a program that came on TV, and they said that they're saying that there's going to be more plastic. There were more plastics made between the year 2000 and 2010. So in a 10-year span, more plastics were made than that were made in all of the 1900s. And so what we kind of got this speeding train going down, and the plastics is a major issue in addition to some of the chemicals. And I just wanted to point it out. I think they said like in 1950 there were 500,000 gallons or pounds of plastics made in the last couple of years. Of 265 million in that year. So it's rather significant what's going on, and I think it is something we all need to pay attention to. So let's look at some of the things that you would not find in the cleaning products that Shaklee had, and the list is right here. I'm going to just take a few and delve into because I think sometimes we have to see the significance of what they do. So we're going to talk about butyl-Cellulose. It's a probable carcinogen, irritating to eyes and skin. Oops, sorry. Something popped up there. It can cause headaches, drowsiness, weakness, depression, mood swings, personality changes. Exposure for just 15 minutes cleaning soap and scum from the shower exposes 1 to 3 times the limit. And I want to point out here is you got the whole Simple Green line. And I'm not product bashing, but it's really important because people think that if it's biodegradable and safe for the environment, that automatically means that it's non-toxic, and that is not true. You can see a lot of other products that also happen to have this in them. Let's talk about chlorine bleach. Chlorine bleach is certainly the one that's most commonly known to be dangerous. Causes skin and eye damage, damaging the respiratory tract, can cause throat irritation. It's linked to RADS, which is reactive airways dysfunction syndrome, bronchitis or asthma, corrosive damaging to cells on contact. And of course you see common products. We know it's a lot more than that, but these are common everyday products, and people think I'm going to clean my house. I'm going to clean my house because we need to get healthy. We need get healthy. And one is not connecting the dots to say, wait a minute, that's not necessarily bringing health into your home, right? Let's look at something called MEA, monoethanolamine. It's linked to asthma, can cause liver damage. And again, you've got that whole list associated with the nervous system. Depression can cause immediate allergic responses. It's irritating the eyes, skin, and lungs. There's a few on this page that are just outright shocking. If you look at the products that are designed just for baby use, and they're marketed with the language of being safe and gentle for babies. And that's something, again, we need to know about. And there's a baby cream on here that's kind of big. So we have another one, lye, which is sodium hydroxide, potassium hydroxide. You got kind of the same list: respiratory tract, liver, kidney damage, irritating to eyes and skin, causes 75% of caustic injury to our kids under the age of 5. And again, you look at, there's another line of green products there, and kind of some of the everyday things that are going on. So it's an important thing, and I think it's a really great message to share with people, not only for the safety part of it. I remember one December, 2 of the families in our group, the moms called me and said, "You're never going to believe this, but my kiddo got into my cleaning bucket and sprayed that cleaning product right into their throat." And we called poison control, and they looked it up, and they said, "Oh, it's Shaklee. It's completely safe. Just give them a drink of water." And they said, "We're so thankful that we switched our cleaning products because that could have been a very different story for them." So not only for the safety factor, but for the health issues. I mean, I talk to women almost every week that say when they clean their house, they get headaches. And they feel terrible sometimes for days afterwards, and that is a direct correlation to what they're exposing themselves to. All right, so here's some more things you're not going to find in Shaklee products. A very long list that we won't go through. So what can you do? There's a great website. It's a government website. You can go to this and you can type in the products that you have with chemicals, and it will show you draw the connection to them. Again, if you're going to get rid of them, you have to properly dispose of them. You can't just toss them. And you have some great safer choices out there. So we can talk about Shaklee's Get Clean products. And we have a starter kit in Shaklee that is absolutely my favorite to promote because it provides really your whole household worth of cleaning products. It saves you $3,400 worth of products from the store. This is the coolest thing because the starter kit is $99. Some of the products will last you for years, but because it's so concentrated and you add your own water and you use the same spray bottle, you are making such a massive impact not only on your bank account, but on packaging waste and greenhouse gases. So it's kind of a brilliant product line from every single aspect. So let me talk about Basic Age. It is the cornerstone of this product line, and again, you guys have learned a little history about it now. This bottle right here is going to last you a couple of years. I have some women, they'll take a little Sharpie and write on there the day that they bought it, and then they'll mark it down. And every time I see it, they'll look at my bottle of Basic. It's just so full. It's a fantastic cleaning product. You will notice that it does not hurt your hands. It does not burn your sinuses. You mix very little, so you see at the bottom the difference. There's spray bottles that come with it that tells you exactly how to mix it and what it's used for. This bottle here, if you were to make all-purpose cleaner, 48 gallons of all-purpose cleaner. If you were to use this bottle just to make a windows and mirrors cleaner, it would be 5,886 bottles of Windex. It's kind of crazy awesome, and it's cheaper than cleaning with vinegar. So this is a fantastic thing. Such a simple, easy, and smart thing to make a switch because it can be so impactful, again, to your health. You're not throwing that Windex bottle away over and over and over. You're in such a neat, you feel really good about yourself. That's what I want to say. Okay, so let's just go through some of our other products really quick. So we have some great laundry products. So we have Nature Bright, which is the first one you see, and this is going to be the thing that allows you to get the bleach out of your house. It is color safe, but it's a laundry brightener. It's also got a great stain removal component, but you can use this. It's enzyme activated, so it works with the oxygen in your water, and it's fantastic. Lasts a very long time. There's a little container on the right there, and that's the container you reuse. So you buy the bag, you pour it in there, and then you keep that container. You don't throw it away, and so you're reusing your container over and over and over. It's not going to leave chemicals in your clothing or your towels and your sheets. You do not have to walk around wearing your chemicals all day, which is really cool. They say between 60 to 70% of everything that comes in contact with your skin will actually absorb into your skin and into your bloodstream. So you really don't want to be kind of laying on, sitting on, wiping yourself off with things that could go into your skin and cause problems, or can cause problems through your breathing or just from contact, right? It's better for your clothing and your laundry machines and your plumbing. It smells great, and it's a fantastic spot removal. And I want to point out then we have a liquid laundry detergent that is super concentrate. Use 1 ounce of this for your load of laundry. Now, I found Shaklee for the nutrition products because that's where my mindset was. I had no idea about this particular product line, but I have a family of 6, and so you can imagine that I kind of swim in laundry every day. Not so much now, but boy, back then it was terrible. And I would buy this 5-gallon drum of laundry detergent from Costco and drag that thing home about every 6 weeks. And we switched to Shaklee's. They have this powdered laundry detergent. It's a 14-pound box, and it lasts me, I kid you not, 6 to 8 months because you use such a little amount. It was such a happy day when I really put that together. I was so excited. So we have this fantastic laundry detergent. The liquid laundry detergent is also a great pre-spotter, and we have 2 types of fabric softener, a dryer sheet, which is great for static, and then we have a liquid fabric softener that has just a nice little natural lavender in there, and it softens just a little bit, and neither of those build up a waxy thing on your lint screen, so there's not that whole household fire threat there. Just a fantastic thing to do in your house. And they say that the most toxic cleaning product in your house is actually your laundry detergent. So again, think about your physical contact with that all day. It's a big deal. And then if we look at the kitchen collection, it's good for your hands and for your dishwasher, your plumbing. It works amazing. It doesn't burn your skin or your sinuses. It doesn't kill your brain cells. It just gets better and better. You see that little round scour off there at the bottom. It's just one of my favorites. I have a few cleaning companies here in Colorado that will buy that by the case. It is fantastic. You don't have to wear gloves, and it's like this great little concentrated paste, and then you can clean anything with it. Your flat top stove, your oven, your tile in the shower basin is just fantastic. And again, it lasts for years. And then you have the dishwash powder. So you see that bag there? That is equivalent to 4 boxes of Cascade, which is kind of awesome. You have a hand wash, a liquid there. This is my favorite scent, just a little light citrus scent. That one, if you have educated family members that don't pour in big, huge squirts, right? Just a few drops is all you need. It's very concentrated. That will last you, I think we get 6 months out of ours. And then there's a hand wash, which is my favorite, and it's made from oatmeal and wheat germ. It also is very concentrated. Now in Colorado, we have a lot of problems with dry skin. And I meet people all the time that have these big, huge bleeding cracks in their hands. It looks so incredibly painful. And so one of the first things I love to do is say, I would like to tell you about some hand wash we have, because it heals their skin, it doesn't destroy it, and it's actually moisturizing. So we also have a couple of cleaning wipes that I don't have on the slides here, but I thought I'd mention because they are also great and they're biodegradable. So again, you can make a difference. The Get Clean Starter Kit eliminates 108 pounds of packaging waste, 248 pounds of greenhouse gases. It's the equivalent to planting 10 trees. You save a ton of money, and it's fantastic for your family. So you can see I get pretty excited about this product line. Who knew? I didn't even know about it when I joined Shaklee, but it's just one of the best things going. All right. So, Jessica, are you on? I'm hoping.
Yeah, she's here. Just a second.
Oh, good. I get to introduce you to Jessica Wurtzbaugh, and she is another fantastic friend and great leader in our group, who actually is in Jennifer Hart's group, but she has a really amazing story. So are you there, Jess?
Yep, I'm here.
Oh, I hear you. Yay. Okay. So you're just a little quiet, so speak up, but go ahead and tell us how you found Shaklee, and then tell us what's going on with Ben.
All right. First, thank you so much for letting me be part of this, and I'm hoping you guys can hear me because the audio's been a little funky on my end. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah,
you kind of come and go.
Okay. Yeah, it's been kind of coming and going for me too, so I'm hoping you'll catch most of my story. Stop me if I go away, and I'll come back. So our story started 4 years ago now. I was introduced just to the idea that I was actually choosing to bring toxins into my household and what that could be doing to my family at a MOPS talk. And it opened up a whole new world for me that I had never even thought about. I thought it was just normal that you wore a mask and gloves when you cleaned, and that's just the way things were. So, but by this point, I'm at MOPS, I've got 3 little kids, and I started thinking a little bit more that I should probably find out more. So I attended a Healthy Home, Healthy You talk, and really freaked out, switched over everything at that point, going, okay, we're changing this out, because right now I've got 3 kiddos with pretty significant health problems, especially our middle son, Ben. He suffered horribly from eczema and asthma. Lisa saw him when he was little, and he was not a happy little guy. He was healthy. So within about a week of changing our cleaning process, we started to see his eczema go away. We were able to start backing down on his asthma medication in a week. And he was doing at least 3 treatments a day. And that was with 2 different medications. One a steroid, but you don't want to be giving to your little guy. So when we changed over our laundry process, and that was the one that took me a little longer because I wanted to use up what I had. And I wish I'd just thrown it out. Because once we did that and he wasn't sleeping in those toxins anymore, done. He was completely done with eczema, and we were able to wean him all the way off his asthma medication.
Wow.
So at that point, we thought, you know what? He is very chemically sensitive. We go down the aisle at the grocery store. He has a hard time breathing. So we knew we had to keep him safe from those sort of environments. Well, fast forward a couple years, and we had a temporary living situation while we were between houses of living with his grandma, my mother-in-law, and he was exposed back to those same toxins. Laundry and cleaning and air fresheners, all the things he's very sensitive to. And we're like, well, it's fine. He's 3 years older than when we started. Should be fine. Well, within a week of him being in that home, he started to show symptoms of asthma again. He actually asked me 4 times, Mom, take me to the doctor. I can't breathe. I was like, oh, it just broke my heart that, you know, we've put him back in this situation, even though it was only temporary, thinking he'd be okay. And now we've got to put him back on treatments. He was back full-blown asthma in a week. So treatments 3 times a day, 2 different medications. And we did that for him for 3 months. So it was painful to watch him go through it, but really a testament to saying, when you take these toxins out, it makes a huge difference in your kids' lives. Yes, so we traveled back to my family for spring break, and I started weaning him because I knew that as soon as we came back to Colorado that we were moving into a new home. Well, it took us 2 weeks to wean him off because, again, it was a steroid, and he has had no problems. You know, I'll ask him every now and then because we're in a new environment. I'm like, does it hurt to breathe? Is your chest heavy? And he's like, no, I'm fine, Mom. And it's like, oh, you know, just little guys are so chemically sensitive, and they just really thrive when their bodies don't have to fight that. I mean, he's happy, and he's running around like crazy, and he's not on his medication. So it's phenomenal just watching the change in him and knowing, you know, this is how it needs to be. One thing I forgot to add is when we took him back to the doctor and said, you know, I said, look, this is what's going on. We need to put him back on his medication. He's been off of it for 3 years. And the pediatrician looked at me and he goes, do you need me to write a note that says he can only be around sex products? that was great because he kind of poo-pooed it. You know, yeah, sure, chemicals make a difference, but it can't be that big of a difference. So that was a very good testament to, yeah, it does make a difference what they're breathing and what their bodies are fighting.
Yeah.
It's been nice to have that easy transition right back off. And I still have his inhalers with us just in case, but he's been fine. We just really know he's very chemically sensitive.
See, and that's just amazing to me. And I remember doing some research a few years back when I was getting some statistics on children's health. And I remember looking at a statistic, and this is so scary to me, but the percent of children that will actually die from an asthma attack, and it's serious. And so I tell you, I wish we had more time. I would love to have Jessica really talk about all of the different health benefits she's seen in her family since starting on Shaklee Nutrition. She really is a hero of a mom in terms of really just working for her kids' health, and they're all just thriving and doing so well. But wow, it was such a shocking story because it's so evident to exactly what's going on with this little guy. So thank you.
We'll just have to have her back.
Yeah, I think we will. We're going to create another talk, and then we'll have her come talk about all of the other things. So anything else you want to share, Jess?
I don't think so. That's it. I just, you know, if you can convince some moms just to take your cleaner, you know, change your cleaners for 2 weeks, just 2 weeks, you'll see a difference.
Thank you, Jessica.
Well, and again,
you're welcome.
Yes, thank you so much. Thank you so much. And again, I mean, just even the cost thing is so significant, but when you start to kind of put the pieces together. So I love being able to share these stories. Thank you guys for coming on. So now I'm going to wrap it up, and I just want to give you some options of where you can go from here with Shaklee if you're not a member yet, or even if you are a member. We want to give you just kind of a general overview. So there's really 3 ways to get started and to engage in Shaklee, and most people want to use the products. They're just so fantastic, and they get great results, and you know they're safe. And then many people want to become referral partners, and basically that just means that they're sharing these great products with their family and friends. Sometimes they have little get-togethers, or you know, they'll invite them to come to a webinar or something like that, and it's a great way to get some just a little perks from Shaklee on the side. And because the nature of our business is all word of mouth, we really rely on the significance and the benefits of these products because people will use them and tell people about them. And so we love that category of people just sharing. And then there's some people that will take a look at Shaklee and they'll say, you know what, we do need some extra income, and we really do resonate with what this company's about, and those people are the ones that will choose to kind of look into the distributor options and build a business. So there's the options. We got it all in, 7:59. Did you feel me picking up pace there a little bit? Like, oh, yeah.
Very nicely done. Tons of valuable information.
great,
And those
great.
Great stories. I loved them.
Weren't they, though?
Yeah.
Sometimes I think I just need to have a testimonial night and have all these wonderful people come on and share their stories, because that's the best part. And I'm
that's
so
a thought.
happy. I'm just so,
You know.
it would be fun, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
You know? So,
yeah. A few questions. Thank you, Donnie Herman, for letting us know that we're celebrating this year the 120th anniversary of Dr. Shackley's birth.
Oh, my goodness.
That's good. And Laura is wondering if Grandma switched to Shackley cleaning products. I wondered the same thing. I thought, did Grandma become a candidate for Shackley?
That is such a sore topic. It was just, again, that's why the doctor, I think, offered to help Jessica with the no, but she just, I don't know what to say, I guess didn't get it.
Yeah.
She did not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are there any experiences of COPD improving when people change to get clean?
Well, Joe, that's a good question for you, because I don't know that answer.
I don't know either, but it would stand to reason to me that it might help lessen the severity of their symptoms.
Well, you know what I would think? Any time you remove the stressor from the body of having to process and filter out chemicals, you've relieved that, and it can use all of its resources now in better areas, to fight off other things. So I would say yes.
Yeah, I would too. Yeah, right. What age can children take the Mighty Smarts? As soon as they get teeth.
Yeah, as soon as they get teeth, and I have such creative little mommies, but you can make little teeny chunks of that and put it on their high chair tray, and they'll just snap it up with their teeth.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, our grandsons have been taking it. They call them their grandma chews.
Oh, what a nice honor.
Yeah, isn't that? Yeah.
That's great.
At what age can children start Incredibites? As soon as they get teeth.
They have teeth.
I don't mean it to be, a smarty pants kind of response, but the same thing with the Incredibites. You can break those up, and
it's just getting them into them without choking, right?
Yeah.
And I have some mommies that will crush and put them in applesauce or yogurt, and I think that's a nice option.
And I'll tell you, in my experience with our grandsons, having them start on these products from day one, where they haven't tasted any other kind of vitamin, makes a huge difference.
Yeah.
So one of the grandsons is 6.5 and one is 4, and they love these two products. And if they'll come over to the house and pop in, and sometimes one of the first things they'll say to me is, "We didn't have our vitamins yet today." Well, sometimes they've had them, but they want a second serving.
That's great. That's great. Well, I do know, and Jessica's one of these, a lot of moms that have to hide their Mighty Smarts because the whole bag can get eaten in one night if they don't hide them.
Oh, yeah, they taste good.
They're so good.
Yeah, and we can start children for when they on Vital E as soon as they're able to swallow.
Yes.
Well, that's it for this evening. Thank you so much, Lisa, and to your team. The girls were wonderful, and their stories were just very, very powerful. Listening to those two gals tell the stories about their experiences with their children would have to convince even the hardest hearts of the value of Shackley.
Yeah, it's been wonderful. Well,
everyone have a super great week. Good night.
Good night.